Hello students, how are you doing? It's good to see you again. Welcome back to the materials for English 1 for Diploma 3. And for this week, we'll be discussing the topic about the transportation. Specifically, we'll be talking about the future transportation. And after that, we will be discussing about the grammar points. And of course, we will talk about future tense. Okay, so still with me, Miss Monalisa Pasaribu. So let us check the material for this week. So as you can see, the outline for our video is the first one will have a review, and then we will discuss about week 11 topic, which is about the future transportation, and then after that we will discuss the grammar of future tense by using will and may and might for prediction, and then we will do the discussion of future transportation as our practice. Okay, so let's start with the first agenda for today. We'll be talking about the review from last week's material. So as you can see over here, last week we were discussing about past tense and we were discussing about inventor and invention. So what we are going to focus on for this week, we'll be discussing about the past tense specifically and the use of past tense to express past activity. So what I want you to do as an activity for review is to make a compound sentence explaining your past activity. And for this one, I think you need to look at the meaning of what a compound sentence, and then after that I also want you to use the tense that is proper for expressing the past activity, and I think you already know what's the tense is, and therefore that verb for that tenses should also be following for the past activity. Okay, now for this review activity, what I want you to do is I want you to post this answer in eCourse. This is going to be your question for your discussion forum for week 11. Okay, so review activity will be what you are going to post later in your eCourse for discussion forum week 11. Okay. Now we come up to the topic about the future transportation. So what I want you to do for this exercise, for this activity, is I want you to think of one future transportation. You can imagine any kinds of future transportation. It can be land, air, or water transportation, or underwater transportation, or maybe the combination of three, I don't know. You can put names of this future transportation, for example, Avanzi 1.0, 1.0, for example, and etc. Okay, and then after that, tell me what this transportation can do. Okay, so for example, Avanzi 1.0 can fly and go into the water and etc. Okay, and post your answer for this activity. I want you to post your answer in the comments in YouTube. Okay, and later we're going to see your answer in our practicum session. Okay, I'm looking forward for your imaginative future transportation. Now, before we go on further, I also put a link for a video here. This video is about a future transportation in modern city. Okay, so I want you to have a look at this link later, and then after that we will discuss what kinds of transportation did you see from this video. Okay, now for the list of vocabulary, we have over here 7 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vocabulary, and I reckon that you are familiar with the word invention, congestion, and then we also have pollution, smart airplane, MRT, flexible seat, and sophisticated technology. And I think the reason why people are what do we call developing a future transportation is actually to solve the problem for number 2 and number 3. So congestion and pollution can be very problematic when it comes to big cities. Okay, so by having an inventions for the development of the transportation, we really hope that the congestion and pollution can be solved. Okay, so what kind of future transportation is it? I think in Jakarta we have right now mass rapid transit, the one that is I think it's like in Palembang as well. They have what do you call a train that goes up, if I'm not mistaken, and then after that there's also airplane, and more future transportations are actually being developed at the moment. Okay, and of course this vocabulary, as I put over there, there's flexible seat and sophisticated technology. Those are some of the features that people are putting, or inventors are putting, into their future transportation, because they all, besides solving the problem of congestion and pollution, they are also trying to make the consumer or the customer feeling more comfortable with this future transportation. So they added sophisticated technology, or flexible seat, or maybe something that is smart in that kind of vehicles. Okay, so that is the vocabulary for this week. I'm pretty sure there are plenty more for this vocabulary, and you will check later on. Okay, now before we discuss about the tenses for this week, I am showing you a text about smart airplane. So with this text again, I'm asking you, please do the reading and record yourself. Okay, first of all, read it by yourself, and then once you're confident with your reading, record your voice. That way, you will avoid the mispronunciation of the important words. Okay, we will check. I will later on check in the practicum session whether you're doing it or not. I really hope that you do. Okay, now as a follow-up question after the reading, I have a question of two questions actually about the prediction. Now, do you think that this idea of a smart airplane will likely to happen in the future? So based on your reading, do you think that this will likely to happen in the future? From scale 1 to 10, 1 is uncertain and 10 is certain. What number do you pick, and why do you pick that number? For example, for me, if I said to you, I'm not certain with that text whether it will happen in the future, then I'll pick up number 1. Then I'll say I'll pick up number 1 because I think that it is quite impossible to happen in the future, because we don't have what we call as devices, tools, or knowledge to create that kind of smart airplane. However, that's my answer. Maybe you have a different answer. Maybe you're quite certain about it, or maybe you're in between certain and uncertain. Then please pick up your number, and then after that tell me later on in the practicum session why you pick up that number and how certain you are with that with this invention. Okay, now after reading the text, I have a question over here. What are the features of the smart airplane? So what I want you to do, I want you to list the answer, list the features of the smart airplane, in your exercise in the Microsoft Word, and later on we're going to discuss the answer in the practicum session. Okay, so what are the features of the smart airplane based on your reading? Next, we will be moving on the discussion of the tenses that we are focusing on for today, which is on making a prediction. Okay, because we are talking about prediction, it is something that is not happening yet. Therefore, when we are talking about the future development, then we are using future tense. Okay, and we use the word will for a prediction that you think is quite certain to be happening in the future. For example, for a positive sentence, you say, our sensor will stop driver falling asleep, or hydrogen fuel cells will get cheaper as the technology improves. So this is something that the writer is confident about, which will happen in the future. If the sentence is negative, then you just add not after the word will, then it will be a negative sentence. For example, our sensor won't stop driver falling asleep. Now for the second one, when you are talking about future developments and we are not really sure about it, then it might possibly happen in the future, may not. Then you use the expressions of may, might, may or might. Okay, for example, hydrogen cells may be the long-term answer. Maybe yes, maybe no. Yeah, a hybrid car might be the best choice since it doesn't produce much pollution. So there's still possibility, or there's still room for improvement, there's still room for changes in a way. Okay, and then if you want to use the negative form of the sentence, then you use may not for the negative form, and might not for the negative form. Okay, for example, hydrogen cells may not be the long-term answer, or hybrid car might not be the best choice since it produces much pollution, something like that. Okay, so that is the tenses discussion for expressing the prediction for something possible and something certain. Now, as the first practice, what we will do, I have 5 sentences over here, and there are already indication whether the writer say he or she is certain, or it is still possible to be done, or it's not likely to be done. Therefore, I want you to answer this question in your exercise book in Microsoft Word if you can. So it's easier later on for the correction, for checking your work by share screening your work later on. Okay, so that's for the first practice. Now for the second practice, this one is for adding the vocabulary into the exercise, into practice 2. So have a look at go back again to the vocabulary list that we have previously in the previous slide, and then put those vocabulary in the text in this exercise. Okay. And then for the last practice, we have writing. So what I want you to do, I want you to write down one future transportation. I want you to name the future transportation. You can give as unique as you can. You can give the name as unique as you can, and then list all the features, and don't forget to use the modal verbs for the prediction. If you have difficulties, go back again to the reading about the smart airplane. It's a good example for developing your own text or your own writing based on the text that you have just read. Okay? So that would bring us to the end of the material for this week. And for next week, we'll be discussing about gadgets. Why are we talking about gadgets? Because we will combine all the tenses that we have learned over the past week, the past tense and the future tense. And for next week, we'll be discussing about past tense, present tense, and future tense by discussing the development of gadgets over years. So the development of gadget in the past, in the present, and in the future. And then later on, you're going to execute the writing using the tenses that we have learned over these 2 weeks. Okay, so that's for the next video. And lastly, very quickly, we'll discuss about the checklist for this week. So we have I can understand important terms in transportation. I think you have. I can make prediction. I think you have. And then I can present an idea of future transportation through your writing. Okay. That's for the reference for this week. Thank you very much everyone for watching my video. I hope to see you in the practicum session and looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye everyone.